Well, I just published my last video that I did on a tutorial for Gimp filters and paintbrushes, and I said it works on Windows or Linux. I'm going to use the same image as I did before. I'm just doing this. I'll pop up on this window to show how I made my thumbnail. I did a screen capture. I actually did a screen capture of that screen right there. Then I put this, the title on top, threw a little star in there with a fun with graphics, and there's the final result right there. Enough of that one. That one doesn't matter. We're just showing you where I was at. This is the tutorial today. But before I get rid of anything, I better be careful. I'm not want to use this again. I'll probably use this with my next video. Okay, so cancel it. Don't get rid of it. Okay. Isn't this something? I can talk to myself and it's no problem. Let me take I'll copy this image here and place it on this. Select all, edit copy, let me paste it on top of here. Paste as a new layer. Well, that's not going to work because I copied a blank layer. Look at that. Oh my God. Sometimes my lack of perfection amazes me. Okay, gone, gone, gone. I don't want that gone, gone, gone. Oh my God. I need my new layer. Okay. New from visible. Oh my God. I hope everybody learns from me. You don't always have to learn what to do. Sometimes you learn what not to do. Okay. Copy. Now we're going to paste that on top. Paste as a new layer. There we go. That's better. Okay. Now we can slide that around. We'll slide this over here. And we'll make a copy of that. Okay. Now watch what you can do here. I'm going to take this. Cut a section out of it. Cut. Paste in place. Paste in place puts it exactly back where it came from. If you just do paste, it's going to wind up in a different spot. So if you notice, you can hardly even tell. As a matter of fact, you can't tell. To a new layer. And we'll make that new layer image size. So look at that. Right smack where it belongs. What I'm going to do is play some of this stuff out. Let's put it back. I'm going to make another layer. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep this and I'm going to do another layer from here. I'm going to make a layer new from visible. Then I can turn all this stuff off. I keep it, but it's turned off. And there's my new layer on top. Now what I can do with this is say, okay, I want to select the empty area on the outside edge. I'm going to make a new layer. Okay. And let's paint it black. Select none, and we'll take that layer and we'll blur it. Now remember, I'm not trying to make artistic, beautiful things for you here. I'm showing you guys ideas on how to make things different ideas merged down. Now we'll go back to that layer below, that layer there, And we're going to choose the outside again. But now we're going to go to this top one, and we're going to delete all the black except for the little bit of blur that's along that edge right there. There's a little blur in there. And when I delete this, you're going to see it. Now let's put this image back in here. Look at that. Isn't that something? I don't know what it's good for, but if you ever want that kind of effect, you know how to do it now. And I can take and, of course, amplify it by making 2 layers like that. Now I can take that, since it's an outside blur, let's take that outside blur, select the outside blur, invert it, make a new layer. Let's paint that inverted layer black. Then let's make 2 of them, and we'll take one of them and slide it off center. That'll look like a shadow when I get done with it. Now we're going to make that the same size as the image, and we're going to blur it. We'll put a lot of blur to that one. Okay, there it is. Now, we pick the bottom layer. On the bottom layer, we're going to pick it. And we're going to subtract this area here to give a shadow. Select none. So that turned this whole area into a shadow, which of course looks better if it's not quite as dark, so shadow it out a little bit. Okay. Now we can merge these all down. I'm going to bring another picture in here. Merge down. We don't want that one. That one was our mask. That's what we use. We actually didn't use it like a mask, but we did. We use that as a mask because we use it as to select an area. But we don't want that anymore. We'll move it down. And let's not select this background, but what we're going to do with this, we're going to make a new from visible. That means all this stuff can be shut off. And we've got our new layer. Now this can be, as a matter of fact, we'll drop a shadow on it. We'll resize it and drop a shadow on it. We can take that, resize it, scale, slide it where we want to. We'll slide it up here. Layer to image size. Can select it. We'll select the invisible behind it and invert it. And since this is a solid color, we can do this shadow a little bit different. If it's a solid color, your shadow is not going to show through. If it's a little bit translucent, the shadow will show through. Okay, so we're going to paint that. See? Underneath it got painted. Now select none. You can't add a Gaussian blur and select it. Otherwise, it's not going to go outside of the selected area. There are times you can do that. There are times you'll want to do that, but usually not. And we'll add a bit of a blur. We'll take that and offset it. Make it to image size, layer to image size, and add some translucence to it. Now we can merge that down, and this whole thing, that image right there, can be moved anywhere you want. It can be moved around on the drawing if you wanted to on the thing, and it's going to carry the shadow with it. Let's do this to image size. Let's do something fun here. Just here's the bottom part here. Let's get a circle, and we're going to expand from center. We're going to fix that circle at a 1, 1, so it's really round. We're going to try to do it from the very center of that right there. Okay, let's see. There. That's kind of weird. So we're not going for art effects here as much as we are to show you what can be done. We'll do this as layer to image size. Text. We're going to show some text. When you do text, you've got a choice of aligning it to one edge, to the right justified, to the center, or filled, where it tries its best to make it even on both sides. And it actually does a pretty good job to do that. But we're going to take and put some text on here, and I think we'll just do it in the middle. And here's where you can pick your fonts at. Now you can even download Google fonts, and if you know where your fonts are on your computer, you can set them with your fonts and then choose them from this point right here. Okay, we're going to do what'd be a good thing to write on here. Okay, I just did an upload. Where's my upload at? Photos and images. No, I don't want to do that. See, I talk to myself. Good thing I have this mic here. I do the same thing whether I'm making a video or not. So this way it's kind of neat. When I'm doing this and Myra's sitting here and she says, "Are you doing a video or are you just talking to yourself again?" Oh my God. Okay, we're going to call this a Gimp tutorial. Gimp tutorial using shadows, cut and paste, and fonts. Now to select all that, you click in it and go Control A. That selects it all. Make it bold right here. That turns it bold. Oh, I picked a bold font to begin with, so I can't get it bolder. And this can control the size. Then you align it where you want it to be. And there you go. Let's do it down here where it's not in the way of that image, because we're gonna do more with the images. Okay, take that and do it to image size. Then we'll select the letters. Select all the letters. Select grow. We're gonna grow them by 3. And on a layer underneath that, we will paint them white. And there we go. See, so I'm demoing at the same time I'm making my thumbnail. Oh, that's kind of neat. What do you call this? An all-in-one video? Okay, I'm going to make another layer here and say from the visible. And when it says from visible, it means as I see it on my screen, it will make that layer. That way, once I say from visible, make me a layer. All this stuff down here I can turn off. It doesn't even matter anymore because I've got my layer from my visible. Now let's open up another image. File. Open. No, what am I going to do it from here? I'm going to do it from here. We'll find some image in here. Oh, what'd be a neat thing to do? Let's see. This shows some effects. That might be a nice one just to show because it's already got effects in it. Okay, we're going to open up with Gimp, and there it is. You can see on this piece that I made, it's a collage, but I did the same thing with my images. I took my images, I shadowed them, I put them on, put a shadow on, and made them all look like they were glued on top. So we're going to take this and copy it. Select all, copy, and we're going to paste it on our picture over here. Paste as a new layer. That lets me do what I want to it, and I do need to resize it. Resize is right here. Scale. And of course, slide it where you want. I should have told the scale to keep it at the same proportion. I'll do this so you can see. I'll redo my resize. Okay, when I do a resize, I can go here and say lock my layers so it stays in proportion. Otherwise, one will get bigger and the other one won't. And I can also do it here, or I can grab it by the corner and resize it. But once it's locked together, the two together, it will stay in the same aspect. Get it smaller yet. And we'll slide it around a little bit. Now I can take this and add a layer at trans, or make it some add some opacity to it so you could see through it, or you can have it full strength, no opacity at all. Now I can do something kind of neat here. Let me go to this underneath this. We'll make another layer, and what I'm going to do here is do some squaring stuff. I don't like it there. We're going to do a little outline in here. Now I can paint this. Let's paint it with a light blue. We don't do the same color. There's a lighter blue, and we'll make it even lighter yet. And paint the whole thing. Paint on top of everything. Now we'll select shrink. And delete. And there I've got a border around everything. Select none. Now the border through the letters, that's not good. Okay, so we just go up here and cut it. So there the border is cut. And I don't want it over my dot. I'd rather have my dot on top of everything. I want my dot on top of the border and everything, but I want the border there. But I want the dot on top. Okay, so let's go down here. And there's the dot. Let me select that dot. We'll select it. Let me zoom up so I get a good selection on it. reselect it. That's the best way to do it. Just reselect the thing altogether. Now I can slide it exactly where I want it and get it exactly the right size. There we go. There we go. Okay, you can do it. Come on, that's enough. Good enough. So I'm going to copy that. Copy and paste it as a new letter, as a new layer. And select none. I'm going to take that new layer and put it on top of my border. There's my new layer. I'm going to move it up on top of the border. Okay, select none. Make that border too. Let me see if I need to slide that around a little bit. It might look better if I slide it a little bit. It'd look better if I didn't have that edge on it. It was a bit untidy with my okay. See if I can remove that. Now I can't just delete it because I'll delete the center too. But what I can do, I'll take that selection, I'll grow it by 1. And then shrink it by 1. The reason I had some spare down in this area, I had some pixels that weren't chosen. And I can erase that if I don't use my polka dot brush. And there's where I adjust my size for my brush. And I can erase that edge. And hopefully move my dot where I want it to be. There you go. Good. And I'll do that to image size. That of course could be done much, much tidier. But this is fun stuff, so I'm not going to get all dramatic about it. There's another layer I just made, because what I'm going to do is take that dot, select invert. I'm going to take that and paint black like you've seen done several times before. Paint it black, select none. Take the black and blur it, blur with a Gaussian blur. And I'm going to take that dot and offset it. Now, I lack perfection in here, but you get the idea. Merge down. Now if I back off on my whole thing, the button looks on top of the line and everything. Okay, what else can we do here? What else can we do? Let me see if there's something in another picture I can put in here. I don't think we want a rhino in there. Okay, find something in another picture. Oh, let's take this guy. This is Chris Bamboo. I did a lot of videos with him on my other channel. He made bamboo furniture. Now notice over here where this is in real dark letters, that means this is a single layer. I can't erase. If I try to erase something, so I've got my eraser brush. If I try to erase it, it's going to come out like a background. I've got to add an invisible layer. If I take here and add another layer, move it to the bottom, and move it down and merge them down, now the lettering is light color and the background erases. So I can actually select him out of there, and oh, this would be good for you all to see this. How can you actually select somebody out? I'm not going to do this in the easiest way. I'm going to do it by hand. There's ways of taking and shadowing it that will help you. Well, maybe I can do a little bit of it. We'll make some copy and see if I can turn that into a grayscale. You've almost got to, or not grayscale, you want to desaturate. If you change it to grayscale, all your layers will change to grayscale. If you desaturate, it's only one layer. And you can take with your colors and adjust your brightness and contrast. You can adjust it here, or you can adjust it with your curves. I personally like using the curves, but I wanted to show the two. Curves. Curves let you say, okay, make my black black and my white white. I'm trying to get a contrast in this jacket right here because this will cut real easy because of the contrast in it. I'll have to do this part by hand up here, but the jacket will be very easy to do because of the contrast. Okay, so now I'm going to select some area here, and we're going to crop him out of there. And we want these added together. By dragging your mouse, once you're selected, that area expands. And I'm trying to find, if you see, I'm trying to get as much of that edge as I can in there so I don't have to do so much by hand. You can do it by hand, of course, but it makes it easier if you can set your contrast and select some out. And if you notice on my tool, I selected the magic wand, not that one. You select that one, it would pick out that roof and everything up in there. If you notice off to the left, I'm starting to get a little bit of background, so I had to go back in with my mouse. The same thing there. Okay, I think I can invert that and erase quite a bit. Select invert, and I go over here to my drawing. We'll put another layer in. Let's put a layer that and here we're going to delete. And paint that. I think I shouldn't have deleted the one I did. Wait a minute, that went clear back up to mither. What's going on here? Oh, there I go. Okay, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Then I want to take this and make a new layer. And I want to select the outside of this and delete it from that drawing, from this one here. This isn't working like I wanted it to. Yes, it is. I'm just confusing myself because I wanted to do it a different way, but I changed my mind in the middle again. We'll select this outside area. Invert it. Now we just add to what's already selected. Add to. And we'll add to by using this Bezier tool. The Bezier tool gets a video of its own. It's a very useful thing if you want to use it right. I'm not even trying to use it right in this video because I don't want to get into explaining it right now. It can actually do curves. And we will select from path. Select invert. And we just got rid of everything. Select none. And slide that up. Merge it down. And we don't have him whole, but we sure have a lot more of him now. And it's still quicker than trying to clean up everything edge by edge. We've got peas, and we're going to use him artsy. That's what we're going to do. Is we're going to use him artsy in here. So I can take this now and select a few areas inside here. Copy this whole thing. Select all. Copy, and we'll paste it over here. Shrink them down. And notice we're doing a weird artsy thing here. We'll scale them up. And make them to image size. Make another layer in there. select them. We're going to actually, again, what we're going to do is select the outside and then invert it. And here we're going to paste black again. Let's increase the size. Select, grow by a couple. And then we'll make that faint. We'll add opacity to it. Merge them down. Now we can take that whole image there. And we want to put our logo on top of that. So we'll do another one from the visible. Shut off all these. And let's see if we can get our logos back in there. That one and that one, that makes up the two that was used in logo. I didn't put a shadow in there, did I? No, I didn't. Okay, so this here can be merged down, and we move that to the top of the screen. There we are back. We actually have the same thing by putting all this stuff back now. That's the same as what that visible from layer is. Let's see if we select him. Again, we select background, select, invert. We'll do a layer. Okay. Let's paint it black. It doesn't have to be black. Actually, a deep gray is more like a shadow anyway. And we offset that. Now look what I did there. See? It's because I used the wrong brush. I used the edge brush instead of all the blank. But that didn't come out bad. That's not bad. It's one of those things where you accidentally do something that come out okay. As a matter of fact, it's so okay, I'm going to keep it. Slide it off center, select none. I'm going to give it a blur. That was blurred too much. You see that blur in the background, it was too much. Gaussian blur. That's good. A couple's good enough. And let's take it, add some opacity to it so it's more of a shadow. Okay, good. So far, so good. This part here, I think I want out. All this in here is fine. But that part right there, I don't think I want that. And if I go to this point of the drawing, right here, this layer, I can select only that part there. Now, I'm not going to take it all the way gone. I'm not going to fade it all the way out. I'm just going to add some opacity to it. Okay, select. Grow by 1. I'm going to put all these back. I'm going to not put that one back. I'll put this one back in. That one back in. And that should be enough. How does that look? Everything look fine? Talking to myself again. Now, what I'm going to do is take and make this with a little less opacity than the rest of it. Oh, it's doing my whole thing. I don't want to do my whole thing. So what I have to do is cut that. Cut. Let me do this image size. See, now it's gone. I want a little bit, but not much. So I'm going to have to paste it into place, right back in there again, and there's that floating layer. There it is, right there. I'm going to tell that layer, okay, to a new layer, and there I can add opacity to it. So it's a different shade, but it's not exactly as dark as it was. Okay, now right now let's do a new from visible. And I think you all have learned a lot about how to do shadows and letters, and I know what we can do. We'll take this right here. Here's our letters. It's a good thing to label stuff. I don't do that. That's a bad thing. That's one bad thing I do. I do more than one bad thing, but that's one I really should do. It makes life easier for me. So I want to select everything. Again, select invert. I want to make a layer below that, and I want to paint it black. I want to select none so I could slide it out, and I want to slide that black layer out. But I want to slide it out where it's visible. Slide it down, make it a little translucent, or add opacity. That's the correct term, I guess, to use there. And we'll do it to image size. Okay, now we'll make a new visible layer, and that will have everything in it. Hey, and this is a video. This is it. You watch me make a super duper thumbnail. Oh, now since we're done with this, let's do the commercial part where you put a star on top of every freaking thing here, and make it draw YouTube attention. Okay, here's the yellow star. We're going to use the bezel tool and go click, 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 click. And we're going to take all that. Let's see if we can slide. No, we don't want to slide that. I don't care. Okay, now we want to take that selection. Select from path. So there it is. We're on a top layer that nothing is on. So we can paint that. And we get a super star in there. And we make another layer. And we're going to write Gimp tutorial. But we're going to do that in, let's be gaudy. It's got to be red on the black. Okay. Gimp tutorial. There we go. Select it all and try to get it where it might be able to fit inside that box. Okay, so there it is, and now let's rotate it. See that little thing up there? We can rotate it. Rotate it. Now slide it into place. Look at that. Oh my God. People are going to see that and say, Oh man, I have to click that. Look at that image. I gotta click it. I just have to. It's gonna be like a click magnet. I can feel it in my bones. I'll be looking at it and go, geez, oh man, I've got to click that stuff. Okay, select, invert, grow by 1, grow by 1, or let's grow by 2. Grow by 2, and let's paint that. Did I already put an image, a layer in? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. And let's paint it black. Now we have an outline. Oh my God. I can feel it in my bones. They're going to look at that. Just look at it and go, man, I got to click that. Look at that picture. A funny looking face, a guy with holes in him, and a Gimp tutorial and a yellow star. Ha! Who cannot click this thumbnail? Tell me that. Okay, now I'm going to save it as, you got to export. If I save it as, but I'm going to save it too, because that'll save all my layers, everything I'm doing, and I can go back and use this drawing again if I want to. So I'm going to save it as thumbnail. I can use that thumbnail again. Look at that, I misspelled thumb again. I did that in one of my videos and I had to fake it. Okay. New from visible. Now I got to export it. And I'm going to export it as my video name. Export as. They say that's good to do the same name as your. Okay. That's what your video is. So I'm going to say Gimp tutorial. Gimp tutorial. I don't want all this stuff in there. A Gimp tutorial. Shadows. Shadows. TEXT. Cropping. Because we crop that picture out. Cropping. What else? Create thumbnails. Gimp shadows, text cropping, thumbnails, and artsy stuff. No, I'll call this effects. JPEG, there's my thumbnail. So look at, I got all this together all in one. I'm finished now. Here's my video and I've got my thumbnail all ready for it. And all I've got to do here is stop my video from being recorded. And right there it's been recorded and